As we close out 2022, we look back at some of the many stories that dominated the headlines here in Indiana.
Moments of triumph and tragedy, politics that divided us, and causes that brought us together.
Yeah, a year of highs and lows that ended with a Christmas miracle. WRTV's Mark Mullins has our 2022 year in review.
We brought in the new year with lingering uncertainty about COVID, masks for holiday travelers. Businesses, large and small, wrangling with whether to bring back workers to office spaces or continuing the work from home model. In late February, a violent encounter put a beloved IMPD officer in the ER. A traffic stop in Fountain Square escalates to gunfire and a chase. Officer Thomas Mangan was shot in the throat, but survived, persevered, and continues his recovery. Billowing smoke could be seen for miles and miles on the afternoon of March 16th. A large fire destroyed the Walmart fulfillment center in Plainfield. Amazingly, none of the 1,000 workers employed at the facility were hurt. I hope you don't mind, but this next story frustrated hundreds of Elton John fans. A combination of renovations at Gainbridge Fieldhouse and the transition from paper to digital tickets led to confusion, seats double booked, and hundreds of fans missing part or all of the legendary singer's April 1st concert in Indy. 2022 is the year when the Indianapolis 500 returned in full force at full capacity following the height of the pandemic. More than 325,000 fans packed the track. It was the largest attendance since the 100th running of the race in 2016. The checkered flag waved for Marcus Ericsson.
This has shaken us to our core.
On July 17th, just minutes before the Greenwood Park Mall was scheduled to close, a man with a rifle opened fire in the food court, killing 3 people. Shoppers and mall employees ran or took cover. Elijah Dicken was at the mall that day. He legally had a gun and shot and killed the gunman. Dicken was hailed a hero and credited with saving many lives. When the Supreme Court rescinded Roe v. Wade, Indiana lawmakers then had their work cut out for them. Governor Holcomb called a special session in July, and a main focus was Senate Bill 1. The bill tightened restrictions for those seeking an abortion and laid out specific parameters for clinics and abortion doctors. The law is on hold and being challenged in the courts. Lawmakers also used the session to hammer out a plan to help Hoosiers deal with inflation.
We will love you forever, our beautiful son.
Tragedy hit the city of Elwood. In the early hours of July 31st, Officer Noah Chanavez had pulled over a white car. Before the officer could even get out of his cruiser, he was shot and killed. There was an immense outpouring of support for the relatives of Officer Chanavez and the Elwood Police Department. Law enforcement officers from around the state and across the country paid their final respects to the Fishers High School graduate, Army veteran, and dedicated police officer. Days later, on August 10th, Richmond Canine Police Officer Sierra Burton was shot while on duty helping other officers at a traffic stop. Officer Burton was critically hurt and eventually removed from life support. She died 18 days later, 5 weeks after she was shot. Before this violent encounter, Officer Sierra Burton was planning a wedding. She was going to marry her fiancé, Sierra Neal.
He was right there, just right there within a grasp.
A big break in a double murder case in Delphi finally came in late October, more than 5 years after the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German. After combing through thousands of tips, releasing audio and video clips, and 2 composite sketches, Carroll County prosecutors, state police, and federal investigators announced an arrest. Delphi resident Richard Allen is named the prime suspect in the girls' murders. He worked at a local pharmacy chain. The case remains open. On November 7th, a simple tweet from Colts owner Jim Irsay read, "We have parted ways with head coach Frank Reich." The Colts fired their head coach in the middle of what has been a lackluster season with few wins. While fans in the football world expected that, the follow-up announcement was a complete shock. Former Colts player Jeff Saturday takes the helm as the interim coach.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever.
A Christmas miracle. As temperatures began to plummet, Indianapolis Metro Police get word about a baby in a car in a pizzeria parking lot near IUPUI. The baby is 5-month-old Kasan Thomas, and he's alive. He and his twin brother had been kidnapped from Columbus, Ohio days earlier in a stolen car. Kasan's brother was found at a Dayton airport. The woman accused of stealing the car was arrested in Indianapolis. Soon after, on December 22nd, Kasan was saved and reunited with his worried family.